All right, so what did I get done last week? I think the biggest thing was, I think I'm pretty much done with the C++ code. The biggest issue being, let me try to think what this was. Probably need to write down notes for myself too in terms of like the next devlog. Where is that? I'm gonna call it the. Was it the OpenCV devlog? Is what I'm gonna call it. That's the next one anyway. But yeah, so a couple of big issues I've ran into. So one of them was my brain's a little blanking this morning. Monday morning. Let me drink some coffee. Okay, so one thing I found out was on the Quest 3, you can pick the CPU. Some are more powerful. And you can only do this from C++. You can't do it from GDScript. So, in theory, this could be 3 to 4x boost in speed, which would be pretty powerful for the OCR that I'm trying to do. So that'd be a pretty big deal if that does what it does. And then the other piece being, so the app keeps freezing during like heavy operations. And most of this I think was just because I was debugging, and so every time a certain step would finish, I would write an image to the file system so that I could then go look at those images. But it was causing that freezing, it was causing problems, and I think the combination of these two things, the above two items, resulted in me realizing that I should just rewrite the core background OCR loop as all C++. So basically, right now what I was doing was when we would go to capture those images, I would capture them in GDScript and then pass the list of images to the GD extension in C++, and then let it go do work. And then when it was done, basically close that thread and then start a new thread to do the same thing again. And I think mainly also because of this, because of that potentially getting a more powerful CPU dedicated, really this should just be a background job that's always running. So when the app starts up, it should start up, and there should be communication back and forth between it and the main thread. There are some scenarios where the main thread will tell it to pause and don't bother doing more work for the moment. And then there will be other scenarios where, we're just sending data, we're just sending text back, right? OCR text. But really, that core loop should just always be there, which basically means a lot of the GD script that I wrote around some of this stuff, the OpenCV stuff in particular, all that code's going to go away. It's going to get trashed. So, where am I at? The place I'm at right now, and the issue I'm at the moment. Hold on, my headphones aren't working. There we go. Seems a little loud to me. Hold on. Oh, right, that did its thing, and then... Huh. Yeah, I don't think the noise is too loud. I don't know. Somebody could always let me know in chat if they think the background music's too loud. Anyway, plugged into the wrong thing. So the issue I'm having right now is, for whatever reason, My GD extension no longer builds, so let's continue debugging that. I had pulled out a bunch of things into a utilities file. That's not working anymore. So I basically went down to bare bones on the OCR piece. But... oh yeah, so that could be a problem. I'm trying to like just to figure out what broke. I'm going down to like very simple basic stuff just to see if I can figure out what's wrong. Oh, so it doesn't return anything. So we should just do that. And does it like it now? I got a nice build script now, by the way, which makes things a lot nicer. API was not declared in the scope. I don't understand that. Because this code works. This is like working code. So where would we use API? Right, set image. It's like the first time we use it. And the way it was working was the .h file declares it. Right? Namespace Godot extends object, and then we immediately declare API. So weird. And then even in the constructor, in our constructor, we initialize its value. Huh. All right, well, this is annoying. Let me try this. Below is a .h and .cpp file for an OCR GD extension for Godot 4.5. This code was working before, but I recently made some changes, and now I'm getting errors. Let's do that. Control insert. The current error is, which doesn't make sense because this part of the code did not change and was working before. Can you help? All right, let's see what it says to that. And then because honestly, my eyes, I don't understand. Like, I look at this and it seems like it should just work. Hopefully it's just a small typo, would be my think. The issue is that your extract text function is declared as a standalone function rather than a member function of OCR class. Looking at your code. Are you kidding me? That was the issue? Oh. Well, that's the error. That's the reason why this is an error. Okay, but that's just because... Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So it was a typo. But then why was this... Okay, so now it'll build, but I think I was still having the problem of Godot wouldn't like it on import. So this is why, like the new version, I pass it in an image and I get back a string. The old version was returning void from a packed byte array. So now my question is Godot going to like this unload? Hopefully it does, and then I can start piecemeal bringing in the new code and to figure out, because when Godot doesn't import your GD extension, it just kind of gives you a vague error and doesn't tell you what's wrong. And then I've tried running it from the command line with verbose flag, and it still just doesn't tell me what's wrong. Like, what is wrong with this GD extension? I don't understand. Okay, well, I guess I have to go to the nuclear option. And the nuclear option is... because I literally broke it down to like its simplest component. What's our status here? Okay, so I had temporarily removed those files. Oh. Hold on.